Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and I'm out again in the rural village of Duncton in West Sussex, just south of Petworth and about, 12 miles north of Chichester.
Yeah.
It's a glorious sunny day, and we've decided, here again with John Mays, I should say. Hello, John.
Hello, Richard. Hello.
We've decided to come up onto the sports field here, which is the sort of highest northern point of the village, isn't it?
Yes, I think that's right. Yes, with a splendid view.
And it's the views that we want to take in, really, and just look around the rural farming community that's here.
Yeah.
But we're going to go straight back to the Neolithic period, because behind us is a tower, not built by the Neolithic men, it's actually built by modern day quarrying and sand extraction. But what was going on there prior to the rest of history?
Well, there is a band of soil that stretches way back to the west and that way to the east, in which there were many historic settlements.
Right. Very
little is left, of course, apart from barrows and things like that, which are nationally recorded.
Yes.
But there is also barrows that were recorded in the site of that sand pit, but now the sand pit's taken over and has dug up the very place where those barrows were.
Right, okay. And so that was really, in terms of Duncton's prehistory, where the first settlements were.
And it's believed that there was some kind of munitions factory was there, not a very big one. Don't think Sisbury Ring, for example,
right,
but just very small. And there are discoveries from those excavations down at the museum at Fishbourne, that's just outside Chichester.
Yes.
In which there is certainly, I know, a spearhead, bronze spearhead, and other relics coming forward in time, sort of just early medieval time.
Right, okay.
There. Indication very clearly of an early settlement right there.
Well, that's interesting. Now, I mean, adjacent to that, of course, we come a little bit right up to date. Well, not quite up to date. There's an interesting house up there, and it's on an area called Chalet Corner.
That's it, yes. Is it? Chalet Corner, yes.
What's the history of that?
Well, it was one of the previous owners of Burton Park House, which we have covered in
a previous film, yeah.
Who, when he left the house, built that house, chalet style, at that time, chalet style, and it just picked up the name from that and is known locally as Chalet Corner.
So it's a famous landmark.
Yes.
We're going to take a little stroll that way and head down to not the church that we've already made a film about, but a church that was built very much soon after.
Yep.
Shall we go down there?
Let's do that, yes.
So this here behind us, John, that is the other church. It's the Catholic church.
Yes, that's right.
It's
built at very much the same time
as
Trinity Church,
right,
which we did in another video.
Yes, that's right.
And in fact, it's only about 200 or 300 yards away down there somewhere.
Which is the Church of England church.
Which is the Church of England, yes.
And this one is dedicated to St. Anthony and...
St. Anthony and St. George.
And St. George, right, yes. And it's, when you look at the two churches, very different styles.
Very much so.
And that's very much, I think, in the sort of Catholic style.
Yes, I mean, a couple of years only, but difference between the two of them.
So it's interesting that, they built one church and then the other side of the faith, I suppose, said, actually, if you're going to do one, we want one.
Well, I mean, there is a view expressed, I don't know, how much credence one can give to it, that it was the time when the Catholic Church was emerging, rejoining the community, as it were, and perhaps it was the fact that the Church of England Trinity was built over there that prompted this to be built, to say, Yabu, we're here too.
Yes, we're here both.
That is just a view that's expressed, but it is widely expressed.
It's an interesting point here, because it's seen very clearly. I mean, actually, in the far distance, the view goes on, doesn't it? And you can see a clump of trees in the distance, which is well known in Sussex.
Yes,
Chantonbury Ring.
Yeah.
The ring of beech trees originally planted by Charles Goring.
Yeah.
And if you were standing on the top there, I dare say, as we've got clear line of sight, you'd see this church.
Do you know, I've never looked for that, but I do walk up there quite a lot. But you're absolutely right, that would be it. And
Yeah.
I think it's a spectacular view, isn't it? Picking up these gentle curves, which is so characteristic, so uniquely characteristic of
Yes.
the South Downs, and ending up in the far horizon with that down, and as you rightly say, with the trees that are the new growth of
The new growth, yes, because
of the new
after the
Chanctonbury
hurricane
Ring.
of
Yes,
87.
indeed. Yeah, yeah.
Next to the church also there's the old schoolhouse that was again built probably same sort of time as the schoolhouse next to Trinity Church.
Yes, now I don't have a lot of fact on that, but I think it must have been
Yes.
built at the same, you know, why would it have been built up there anyway, when there was already a school at Duncton? So I think it is built at the same time as the church, yes.
And just down this lane is another house which is called the Manor House.
Yes, yes.
And in our very first ones, when we were looking at Duncton, we had a manor house or church farm,
Yes,
which was associated with St Mary's,
Yeah.
which is now defunct.
yeah.
And again, now that's called the Manor House, complete with a gate, so that you
Yeah.
could get to the church like the lords of the manor used to like
Yes,
to do.
absolutely, yes.
So
yes,
that's interesting.
yes.
We're going to go down and have a look at the old post office.
Absolutely.
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
We've got to go around this gate though.
We have.
It's very pleasant, lovely little walk
Isn't
through
it?
here,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes, yes. Lovely little scenes.
Yes.
Little cameos here and there.
You brought me down here to look at this very interesting building,
Yes, yes.
the old post office.
It is, it is. It was the first sort of proper post office
Right.
that the village had, and in fact, well, there were sort of over-the-counter post offices later on. Before that, there was a building close to the Cricketers, which we've been to before.
Oh yes, the local pub.
And that would be a distribution point where the post would come out from Petworth and left there, and people would really go and collect and pick up their post.
Oh right,
Then
gosh.
this was used as a post office, we understand it, where you could buy stamps and things. Again, the post was left here and then taken around by the old postmaster, Tom Gocher, deaf as a post, used to cycle around with one of those old post office bikes.
Oh, great big heavy thing.
With a great big cage in front of it, which didn't go with the handlebars at all. And his daughter,
Yeah.
who did the rest of the parish on foot.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And is he the chap you were telling me that would cycle right up to the top
Indeed.
of Duncton Hill?
Right up to Duncton Hill, almost to up Waltham, but not quite, because
Yeah.
that was a different parish.
Right.
But up to the Dog Kennel Cottages, and so on. And then back down again.
Good heavens, that's
yeah.
an amazing.
Yes.
And it's lovely to see it. I mean, it's a private house now, of course.
Yes, yes, yes.
But there it is, you know, and that's the thing. I think often you can walk past houses and not have any idea of the role they once
Well,
played.
quite. And the other thing about it was it had the village telephone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yes, yes.
so you'd go in there and
Do
use
your
the
thing.
phone.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did have one of those upright things with the
with the camera
receiver
stick.
on the side, and you did that and did that. Yes.
I love it. I
Yes,
love it.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, John, you brought me back to the village hall, the new village
Yes, the
hall.
new village hall. Yes.
And we're going to find out about the new village hall and all the sports stuff that goes on in Duncton
Yeah.
in our next video, where we've got some very interesting people. We've met John Robbins before in a previous video.
Yeah.
He's a gentleman who's lived in Duncton pretty much all his life.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to meet up with the Reverend John Cole, Peter Coles,
Cole, yes.
Peter Cole, who has brought in the game of croquet
Yes.
and the wonderful croquet. And then finally we're going to talk to Peter Thomas, who's on the parish council, and he's going to tell us what goes
Yes,
on
yes.
in the village hall. But that's all we've got time for, unfortunately, in this video, so do join us on the next one. But thank you so much, John.
My pleasure.
It's
My pleasure,
always
as ever.
fascinating going around and exploring your village.
Thank you. Thank you.
Till next time, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, become a patron, all those usual things, and join us the next time we come to Duncton. Till then, from John and I, goodbye.
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 Goodbye.